A federal judge has blocked President Trump on the issue of the Keystone XL pipeline. Now, according to The Hill, in a major victory for environmentalists and indigenous rights groups, Judge Brian Morris of the Court for the District of Montana overturned President Trump's permit for the Canada to Texas pipeline. Now, President Trump, of course, signed that right after taking office last year. It was one of the first things that he did was, I'm going to do the Keystone XL pipeline because Obama said no. Really? Okay. Well, that kind of explains why President Trump did what he did, because Obama said no. Now, there's a reason, of course, Obama said no, and that kind of factors in to why this Judge Morris, made the decision. Now, Morris's ruling repeatedly faulted the Trump administration for reversing President Obama's 2015 denial without proper explanation. He said the State Department simply discarded climate change concerns related to the project. Well, of course that's what he did. That's exactly what happened. He doesn't believe in climate change. He refuses to believe the science because he's too stupid to understand the science. And even if he did, he probably doesn't give a shit about the environment. He's old anyway. So he's going to be dead before the worst happens, or he'll be able to shelter himself because he's got millions of dollars. He's wealthy. But anyway, let's get more into the ruling here. Now, the Trump administration had tried to argue that federal courts didn't have the right to review Trump's approval, saying that it extended from his constitutional authority over border crossings. However, the court rejected that argument. In rejecting the permit, Morris relied mainly on arguing that the State Department didn't properly account for factors such as low oil prices, the cumulative impacts of greenhouse gases from Keystone and the Alberta Clipper pipeline, as well as the risk of oil spills. Now, how many stories have we done on oil spills? A lot. You know why? Because oil spills happen all the time. All the time. Now, in fact, Judge Morris wrote, the major spills that occurred between 2014 and 2017 qualify as significant. The department would have evaluated the spills in the 2014 environmental review had the information been available. The judge also said that the State Department didn't properly justify its switch from rejecting the pipeline in 2015 under the Obama administration to approving it in 2017 under Trump. So he's basically saying, look, all the evidence that we have from the environmental review says that this is bad for the environment. There are multiple oil spills, and in approving the pipeline, you didn't give good enough reason for looking at those concerns. And look, one reason would be the economic benefits, which also in the review were not proven. Now, Morris said that such a change isn't completely prohibited. Yes, he could do that, but the State Department needs to explain why a little bit better, especially in the face of these climate change arguments that the State Department under Obama had made back in 2015. Now, Morris said, the department's 2017 conclusory analysis that climate-related impacts from Keystone subsequently would prove inconsequential, and its corresponding reliance on this conclusion as the centerpiece of its policy change required the department to provide a reasoned explanation. Now, he cites, of course, a court precedent on similar policy changes. So it went from the Obama policy of saying, we're going to reject this because of the significant environmental impacts. Trump comes in and the DOJ says, under him, we believe those are inconsequential. Well, if you don't have a good reason to say that they're inconsequential, well, then you really don't have a leg to stand on when it comes legally, right? And that's what this judge is saying. He's like, you can't do that. In fact, he said, the department instead simply discarded prior factual findings related to climate change to support its course reversal. We don't have to explain anything. We just don't believe in climate change. And we don't have any facts to back us up, but we're going to toss it out anyway. Well, there you go. Now, Trump, of course, is not happy about this. Had a little bit of a meltdown. He said, quote, "This ruling is a political decision and a disgrace. 48,000 jobs. I approved it. It's ready to start." Wait, 48,000 jobs. That's a lot of jobs. Is that true? No. The 48,000 jobs is a lie. Now, when he approved it, actually, back in 2017, he said, if we can get that pipeline built, a lot of jobs, 28,000 jobs, great construction jobs. But wait a minute. He says 48,000 jobs now. He said 28,000 then. Where'd the other 20,000 jobs come from? He made them up. He made it up. He literally added jobs to an already massively inflated number. Now, how do I know that? Well, it's because in the Obama administration, the State Department issued a report that found that there would be a total of 3,900 direct construction jobs if the pipeline was built over 1 year, and 1,950 if the work was spread over 2 years. So 2,000 to 4,000 jobs, temporary construction jobs, that is nowhere near 48,000 jobs. He literally made up about 4,400 jobs out of nowhere. Trump is a pathological liar. That is an enormous lie. But of course, he doesn't care because he makes things up all the time. And then when he gets called out on it, he's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. Ridiculous. No, look, liars are going to lie, and that's exactly what he does. Nonetheless, this is a great victory. Morris ruled that the State Department's conclusions on the pipeline's impacts on endangered species need updating, and that the agency may need to reduce some cultural resource examinations among the pipeline's route. Now, the Trump administration, while it is halted right now, can still do an appeal, of course, but their appeal will likely go to the 9th District, or the 9th Circuit. Now, why is this a good thing? Well, it turns out the 9th Circuit frequently rules against Donald Trump and Republicans, which is awesome. Now, they had ruled against travel bans from people from certain Muslim-majority countries and the ban on transgender people joining the military. So it goes to the 9th Circuit. Well, then it's going to be upheld at least for quite some time before it gets improved. And that actually really helps the environment because the more time it takes to build that pipeline, the less we have to worry about the environmental damage and the less we have to worry about, of course, pipeline spills. So now, of course, Trump not happy about this. Said, I guess it'll end up going to the 9th Circuit. We're slowly putting in new judges in the 9th Circuit. Everything goes to the 9th Circuit. Everything. Oh, you can tell the bitter in his voice. Bitter man indeed. Yeah, everything goes to the 9th Circuit. God damn it. I want to go to the Supreme Court. Yeah, of course you do. Because you just put on 2 very, very pro-corporate Supreme Court justices. Look, all we can do is hope that it gets delayed long enough to where, I don't know, we get a progressive wave in 2020. Here's hoping, right? But, look, we are going to be in trouble, though, for a while, to be honest. With all the judges that Trump has gotten through. For example, as I said before, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, they're very, very pro-corporate. They're going to be there for a very long time. And all the judges in these district and circuit courts that Chuck Schumer had allowed to get through and to get appointed, they're going to be there for a long time too. And so they're going to have a big impact. So I don't know what's going to happen, but look, the longer we can delay this, the better off the environment is going to be. Because Keystone XL is a terrible project. And even though it'll give us a few temporary jobs, The environment cannot handle it anymore. We need less pipelines, and we need more renewable energy projects if we're going to survive climate change. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.